Guys, today I am filming a video showing you all the products that I've hit pan on in my collection. I've been doing this video annually for the past several years. I will have my other videos linked down below, and these are not the new items I've hit pan on this year. This is just the total collection of products that I have hit pan on, and there's not as many things here as I was hoping there would be, but I'm also not surprised because this year I've really focused on either using things up completely or really rotating through things in my collection to get use out of everything. I have used up a lot this year despite COVID, so I will have my makeup use up playlist linked to the card so you can see the other things that I've used up. And before filming this video, I did rewatch last year's video, which reminded me to pull out a couple of products, so that was exciting. But I thought it might be interesting for me to update you in the description box about the updates on the products from that video, because there are a few things I've used up, but there's also several things that I have decluttered from my collection from that. And there's only a few new pans this year, which is a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. So I have some face products and some eyeshadows to share with you guys. And this first product I've had in my collection for forever, but I've barely showed it on my channel. This is an Illamasqua powder blush in the shade Intrigue. It is a matte white, and this was sent to me from Sarah from Beauty Buzz Hub ages ago. I want to say I've had this since 2014, which is a long time, and I don't care about it. Judge me if you want to, but if you can see that right there, I have hit pan on this. I think that this powder is awesome. It smells like a little bit like cocoa, a little bit like vanilla. I really love the scent of this, and this is truly a very pigmented matte powder white. And the way that I've used this in the past is to take like a light dusting of this on its own, or sometimes mixing it with another colored face powder, and I will go underneath my contour to sharpen it up. I also have used this to mix in with my primer setting eyeshadows, especially when I'm repressing the shadows and I used a little bit too much alcohol. I will add in a little bit of this powder. This is awesome. I really love this, and I'm gonna keep it for forever. I don't use it very often, but it's such a good product. But it's just seriously a pure matte white powder, but it's so smooth. So I think I will eventually, once I use up the eyeshadow I'm using right now, this is gonna be like my go-to product for highlighting under my brow bone, because I do like to use a matte white for that. But the Illamasqua blushes are fantastic. I have one other one. It's so good. I wish that Illamasqua was more easily available in the US, but great product, and I wanted to feature it because, like I said, I never talk about it. Then I have one other face powder. This is the Maybelline SuperStay Better Skin. This is the shade number 10 Porcelain. Unfortunately, this has been discontinued, but I was able to hit pan on this one this year. So this is a new pan, and I have a backup in my collection. So you can see that, I mean, I wouldn't call it a decent amount of pan, but it's visible to the eye. And this is the best pressed powder that I've tried. I think it gives great coverage, but it doesn't look too heavy or powdery on the skin. I just am more of a loose powder girl, so I just don't use this a ton. And sometimes it can look a little dark on me for some reason, but it's a great product, and I'm very, very sad it was discontinued. Then I've got some bronzers. So last year I had 4, but I was able to finish one of those this year, which was the Milani Matte Baked Bronzer in Sunset. The other 3 I had planned to finish this year didn't happen, unfortunately. So the first one is Benefit Hoola. This is a classic bronzer of mine. I've actually used one up completely, and this is the second one that I've hit pan on. So this is what it looks like, and I will actually pop up some pictures for the products I had in last year's video just to show you the progress in the pan from last year to now. But I've used up a ton of this, but there's still a lot of product around the sides. I love the formula of this bronzer, and I love the color. It is my go-to winter bronzer. I can use this to bronze and contour. It's not too cool tone on me or too warm tone. Love this. I already have a backup. Next we have my spring bronzer. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So Since last year, I've repressed it and I hit pan on it again, which is why the texture looks a little bit different. And if I didn't already say so, this is the original bronzer shade. Now they have several shades, which I think is awesome. And I think the bronzer would be considered the second lightest shade. And I have a pretty significant amount of pan in here, so I'm really wanting to finish this next year because I have a backup of this as well. And the third and final bronzer is one I just repressed. This is a deluxe sample of the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is in my current fall project pan. Love this color. The formula is awesome, and I have a backup of this one as well. I do have a video that I just updated recently on what's in my backup drawer. I'll link that in the cards in case you want to see that as well, because I've already referenced it several times. And yes, there's technically pan in here, but it's basically because when I repressed it, I didn't fill the whole pan, but I will still pop up a picture from last year. I remember last year I had just hit pan on this bronzer before my video, which was really exciting. Then we have one highlighter. Last year I had 3 highlighters. The other 2 I ended up decluttering. And this year I was hoping to hit pan on Urban Decay highlighter in Sin this summer, and it did not happen, unfortunately. So in my collection currently, there is just one highlight that I have pan on, and it's pretty significant pan. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in Pearl, a very shimmery white highlight. I don't love this. When this came out, it was very unique, and I do think it's still unique, but it was very hard for someone as pale as me to have several highlight options. And this came out like way before all the fun, cool, fair Ofra highlighters. So now I have a very big highlight collection, and here's what this looks like. It's not bad. It definitely depends on the brush, and once I go with setting spray, it helps melt into the skin a little bit better. It's a good one, but I would not repurchase it. I do think that Ofra has a better formula that just like melts into the skin a little better, but it's still very reflective. But this is not bad by any means. Then we have eyeshadows. My first 2 are ones that I'm currently using to set my primer. These are both depotted shades from different Meet Matte palettes from the Balm. This first one is a matte white. This is Matte Malloy from the Balm Meet Matte Nude palette. And the cream shade is Matte Lynn from the Balm Meet Matte Adore palette. And I had a little bit of a snafu when depotting this one, so a little bit of the shadow cracked out, but I had not hit pan at that point. But I've been using both of these every day for the past 2 months or so to set my primer. This one I've been using a lot longer than that, but Matte Lynn about 2 months, and I just hit pan with it the other day, and it's grown a little bit. So I'm very, very happy with the progress on these shadows because you get so much product in here. I remember when I used up my first pan of this, it took me ages, and I repressed it over and over and over again. They're just so pigmented. They come with a lot of product. So those palettes have a great formula, definitely worth your money if you're interested in the shades. But here are what these look like close up. So hopefully you guys can see the pan there. So like I said, once I finish this shadow, which is the best matte white ever, I will start using this as my brow bone highlight. But really love both of these shades. I mean, Matte Lynn does the job. I could be fine without that in my collection, but really this matte white is a standout for me. But love the formula of both of them. Then I have some more pan shadows, so I put them in quads here, and these shadows I had hit pan on last year, but some of the pans have expanded, which is exciting. So I have a little warm tone quad and a cool tone quad. So we will start with the warm tone one because this one has the most progress, which is the most exciting. So this one is an empty pan, but what I have in here is Anastasia Birkin, Anastasia Bengal, which last year was in a palette. Since then I have repressed it into this little pan to make it easier to use. And then this one is Makeup Geek Frappe. So when Makeup Geek reformulated their shadows, they did not redo this color, which is a shame because I think it's amazing. But looking at last year's video, the progress I've made on these 2 is insane. It makes me super proud. All of these are definitely holy grail colors for me. These are the best warm tone transition and crease colors without being too orange on me. And I already have backups of both of them. So I'm definitely gonna finish this one this year. This one I'll probably finish next year though, but love them so much. Then we've got my Cool Tone Quad here, and I think all of the pans have expanded a little bit, but not as significantly as this more warm tone quad. So this first one here is Urban Decay YDK, which is the greatest taupe on the face of the planet. This one is Makeup Geek's Cupcake. Love using this as a transition color with more cool tone looks. I like more pinky purpley taupes. I don't like cool tones that pull more gray, so these are just so perfect for me. And luckily when Makeup Geek reformulated, they did add this shade back, which is very exciting. I'm happy that that shade would be available once I use it up. The next shade I have down here is NYX Coquette, which I also like to use as a transition color. I usually mix these two together because this is more pink and this is more purple. I used this once recently. I felt like it was drying out, so I'm going to try it again this winter, and if it's not performing well, I will declutter it. It is pretty old in my collection, but it's a really beautiful shade. And then this one right here is Anastasia Dusty Rose. I love this color. I think it looks a little warmer or a little more brown compared to these other two shades here, but I think all of these work really well together and really are staples for me in the winter time. I love the Anastasia formula and the Makeup Geek formulas for their mattes especially. I think they're phenomenal. Next I have one more shadow that's in a compact form. This one I hit pan on a few years ago. This is the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in Amber Rush. This is a beautiful rose gold with a little bit of copper in it. I love this shadow. It is so pigmented. It's very metallic, but I really haven't used it much over the past couple years. So this is something that I usually will wear in the winter time. And again, I am going to test it this year and really see if I want to keep this or if it's time to declutter this, because I've had this one since 2013 or 2014 as well. So it is pretty old, but let me show you the progress on this one. I'm super proud of it because this is a pigmented shadow, but it's also very deep and comes with a lot of products. That was a huge accomplishment when I hit pan on this one. And to finish off the video, we had 4 Super Shock shadows, and 2 of these are new pans. 2 of these are the same from last year, and there were other Super Shocks I included in last year's video, but I have since decluttered those. So I will start by showing you the ones that I had hit pan on last year. And these are 2 shades I like to wear in the spring. The matte shade is Belladonna Lily, and the shimmer shade is Flowershop. Belladonna Lily is really pretty on the lid. I don't like their matte shades to be applied anywhere else because they don't blend the nicest, but very pretty on the lid. Flowershop I think is amazing. I love the shimmer in this one, and it's a really beautiful go-to shade for me in the summer. And this is a really beautiful go-to shade for me in the spring. I'm so bummed that one was limited edition. Then I have a color that I love for summer. This one is Snakebite. It's a beautiful golden copper color. It's a ultra metallic finish, and I've hit pan right up here. And with ColourPop shadows, it can be pretty easy to hit pan on, but because these are dried out, this is like true pan. It's not just mushing it around and doing it the easy way. So I'm very happy with that new pan this year. And my other new pan this year is a shade that I usually wear in the winter time. This is Muse. This is a beautiful metallic rose, slightly like coppery undertone, but it's a really beautiful metallic rose color. It's a pearlized finish, which is my other favorite finish. You can see I have the same type of pan up there, which is very exciting. I absolutely love this color. I do think this one is still available. I definitely recommend it. It's so stunning. And those are all the products I hit pan, and those are all the products I have in my collection with pan. And of course I would like it to be a little more. That might be something I focus on next year, especially if I'm still working from home, I'm still being quarantined. It might be easier for me to try to hit pan on some things instead of use things up, but it just depends. We'll see how the times progress. But regardless of all that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, make sure you check the description box so you can see what things I've used up or decluttered that were featured in last year's video. So I would love to know what things you have hit pan on in your collection, and I would love to know what is the #1 product that you are the most proud that you hit pan on there are some things that are so freaking challenging that it just feels like you've accomplished the world when you hit pan on them. And I would love to know what your most exciting pans were. So I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.